Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratuse Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed from chapter 2, verse number 11. The first verse, actually Krishna spoke first verse in verse number 2 of this chapter, but that was more or less uh, just a little bit chastisement to Arjuna. But from this is the first verse. Verse number 11 is actually the first verse when Krishna started speaking uh, knowledge of Bhagavad. So in the 11th number verse, Krishna just chastised Arjuna that those who are actually learned, they do not lament over this body. Because this body, material body, is not at all object for our lamentation. Because gatasuna gatasum, sometimes this body will have life and sometimes this body will not have life. So Krishna has just introduced the concept life, asun. Asun means life. Asun means life. So gatasun means lifeless body and agatasun means lifeful body. So that means Krishna just introduced this concept that there is difference between dead body and living body. So now what is the difference? Krishna said dead body means lifeless body and lifeful body. These two in the both the condition. Actually, learned person who knows the science behind this, what is the difference between dead body and living body, he does not lament. That means whoever is lamenting over the loss of body, that means he is not learned. He doesn't have actual knowledge, and actual knowledge begins from this understanding that we are not this body. That is the beginning of spiritual life. Or ABCD of spiritual knowledge. ABCD of spiritual knowledge is to know that the body is different from the self. This is the ABCD of spiritual life. Just like if somebody who doesn't know ABCD, how he can read, how he can write, and how he can speak. He cannot read, write, and speak. And if he cannot read, write, and speak, so how he can understand further subject matter? That's not possible. So the basis is ABCD, alphabets. That's why very first thing children are taught in primary school, ABCD 1, 2, 3. That is a fundamental thing. Similarly, the fundamental or ABCD of spiritual knowledge and spiritual life is to understand the difference between the dead body and living body, the, the difference between the self and the body, and to understand finally that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. From this point, actually, knowledge begins. And up till this point, whatever is taught, whatever is learned, whatever is spoken, that is all ignorance and nothing else. And the biggest universities in the world, they don't even teach this most fundamental basic knowledge, ABCD of spiritual life, that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. When Srila Prabhupada went to Boston, US, America, so there is Massachusetts, some of you might be knowing, the rank number 1 university in the world, uh, far better than IIT Mumbai, is actually MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in America, Boston, US. So Srila Prabhupada went there for delivering a seminar, a lecture on Bhagavad Gita. So in the auditorium, All the students, there were hundreds of students and professors were also there. So Srila Prabhupada, before beginning to speak about the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, she first asked this question that your university is the greatest university in the world, and you have many branches of knowledge here, many branches or many departments of knowledge, mechanical, engineering, medical, and so many physics, chemistry, so many departments of knowledge are there. But is there any department in your university which teaches that what is the difference between dead body and living body? So there was complete silence. No student could answer, and no professor, HOD, or director, principal, nobody could answer. Complete silence, pin drop silence. Then Srila Prabhupada explained uh, that this is the ABCD of actual knowledge, and whatever we are learning and we are teaching in schools and universities, that is all ignorance. That is not going to actually help us. This is going to bind us. That's why Srila Prabhupada told that these modern schools and college universities are just slaughterhouse, because actually knowledge is not being taught there. Only ignorance is being taught. Ignorance, what is the meaning of ignorance? That you become more and more entangled in the activities of material field, material world, material existence. That is ignorance. Ignorance means science. Ignorance means darkness. Ignorance means a miserable situation. Ignorance means this material attraction, attachment, material consciousness. Ignorance means to forget oneself. Ignorance means to remain in illusion about the reality of life, about the reality of this world. That is actually ignorance. And that is what is being taught in modern schools and colleges, unfortunately. Because nowhere they teach the most fundamental basic concept about the self, that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. That is ABCD, fundamental basic knowledge of basics of actual knowledge. So if the basics of actual knowledge is not being taught, so how we can expect that we can advance in such institutes? That's why there is a great need for us to deliver this knowledge to everyone, specifically to students and youth. So we are eager to give this knowledge, but unfortunately, uh, the teachers and directors, management authorities, parents, politicians, they are not interested to take it. If you approach in any school or college and tell them that, please invite us once in a week to deliver just half an hour lecture on Bhagavad Gita. So they will give so many excuses. No, we have very hectic schedule. Board exams are coming. Children have to prepare for competitions. So many things. Uh, these so many things, so many excuses are given by those schools and colleges and principals and teachers who are favorable to religion. They give this kind of excuses. And what about those who are not at all favorable, who are atheists? They simply deny. They say we are secular. We don't promote any religion. This is the unfortunate situation. They are so learned, big professors and teachers. They can't even understand that Bhagavad Gita has nothing to do with the so-called religion of this world, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. Nothing to do with this. And nowhere in the Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned that this is this Hindu religion or Muslim religion. Of course, religion has been taught, but that what is that religion? That is transcendental religion. That is dharma, not religion. Dharma and religion are two different things. Religion means a kind of faith. Religion means this sects. These sects are actually religion. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. These sects are actually religion. But real religion or dharma is something different. Dharma is not actually sect. Dharma is characteristics. Dharma is actually duty, which is applicable in all situations to every living entity. That is dharma. It's not that it is only applicable for Hindus or Indians, and not just for human being. Dharma is meant for each and every living entity. Human beings, animals, plants, and trees, everyone has the same dharma which has been taught in Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita is a universal book. It has nothing to do with the so-called religion of this age. But unfortunately, these people who are apparently very learned person, have PhD, doctorates, and so they have experience in material knowledge, but they all are ignorant of about the real science, the real knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. They themselves have not read, they studied Bhagavad Gita, concept of Bhagavad Gita, so they cannot promote it. So this is unfortunate situation. But still, we are trying our best to connect as many as possible. So you should also try to connect others. That is your responsibility also. That you try to connect your friend circle so that they can also come to these classes and get to know the what is real knowledge and become free from illusory concept of life. So, so in this verse, which we discussed yesterday, 11, verse number 11, Krishna just introduced the concept, the difference between body and dead body and living body. And he uh, told that those who are actually learned, they do not lament over living body or dead body. So now the question arises, then what is important? Uh, who is important within the body? For whom we should lament? For whom we should work? And who is to be taken care? That question will arise. So now Krishna, verse number 12, she is introducing the concept of soul. न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपा न चैवा न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So, न तु एव अहं जातु न आसम. न तु एव aham. Aham means Krishna is telling aham means myself. Uh, that means Krishna has his own existence. Krishna has his own individuality. When I say when I say I want to drink water, that means I has a separate existence, individuality. That is the meaning. I want to drink water. My brother may want to drink juice. My brother may want to drink a milk. So his individuality is different. His existence is different. My existence is different. This is very clear. Why I'm telling this, that will cover in the coming discussion. Because there are many such foolish person who cannot accept the individuality of Krishna. They say, when Krishna says anything in the Bhagavad Gita, that you become my devotee, you worship me, you chant my name, that is not to Krishna as the individual person, but Krishna is representing, Krishna means that impersonal Brahman. And we are also that part of impersonal Brahman. So rather than thinking about Krishna as an individual person, we should think or we should meditate upon that impersonal Brahman, and we are also going to merge into that impersonal Brahman. Eko Brahma Dutya Nasti. Very misleadingly, they quote this Vedic mantra, Eko Brahma Dutya Nasti. But actually, this is all foolish commentaries. So that we'll discuss in this purport. Srila Prabhupada writes a big purport, defeating all these bogus kind of misleading theories, impersonal theories. So Krishna clearly says, "Na tu eva aham jatu." Jatu means at any time. Na asam. Asam means exist. So there was no time when I did not exist. This is the meaning of first line of this verse. Natu. Natu eva. Eva means certainly. Certainly, Arjuna, I always existed. That is the simple, clear-cut meaning of this first line. Natu eva aham jatu na asam. Why Krishna is speaking in a negative term? He could have said directly, Arjuna, I always existed. Because these foolish persons, Mayavadis, impersonalists, they unnecessarily misinterpret. If Krishna would have said like this, that I always existed, so although this is also perfect, but the foolish people, that they may misinterpret it. They may say, I always existed means in the form of impersonal Brahman. That is what they misinterpret. They say Krishna exists, Narayana exists, So that means impersonal Brahman. That Brahman, one Brahman, which has no form, no personality, no quality, nirgun, nirakar. So that impersonal Brahman is coming in a material form, in the form of Krishna, Ram, or Narayana, and then he is speaking that I always exist. That means we should understand that when Krishna or Ram or Narayan they say I always exist, that means they exist in the form of original form of impersonal Brahman. This is what bogus idea they may propose. That's why Krishna, because he is supreme personality of God, he is the most intelligent personality. Who could be more intelligent than Krishna? He knows everything. How these foolish people will come in the future and unnecessary they will misinterpret my words. So let me speak in such a manner that there will be no scope of any misinterpretation. But still, because they are not just foolish person, their heart is contaminated, they are envious of Krishna. That's why, even though there is no scope of misinterpretation in Krishna's words, still they try to unnecessarily misinterpret his words without any sense, without any logic, without any reason, without any meaning. All their this misinterpretation, impersonal interpretation, this is all illogical, unreasonable. There is no basis at all. So, but anyway, so Krishna says in a negative way that na tu eva ham jatu na asam. Krishna says, Arjuna, there was never a time when I did not exist. That means I always existed. So in this form, which the form which you are seeing, Arjuna, in this very form, there was never the time. Jatu means at any time. Jatu means at any time. Na tu eva aham, myself, at any time. Na asam is exist. I did not exist at any time. This was never the case. Natu eva. Certainly, this was never the case that aham, I did not exist at any time. This is the meaning. That means I always existed in this form of Shyam Sundar, Krishna. With these two, this most enchanting, wonderful form as Krishna, in this two-handed form. I always existed, which you see as Krishna. Tribhanga Murti. Shyamam Tribhanga Murti. Lalita Prakasham. Niyata Prakasham. Yam Shyama Sundaram Achinta Guna Swarupa. Govindamadi Purushottamam. And then Krishna says, okay, Krishna, you always existed. There was never a time when you did not exist. Okay. But what about all other these soldiers and kings and warriors? Were they also always in existence, or they were existing in you, and for the time being they just appeared? They are appearing to be separate from you. So this is another big confusion. Actually, there is no confusion, but this is another big, great mistake committed by Mayavadis. So Krishna says, "Natvam na ime janadipaha." So there was never a time when I did not exist, Arjuna, and also there was never a time. There was never the time when natvam, you, Arjuna, na ime. Now, ime means all this. Ime means all this. Ime means all this. There was never the time when I did not exist, you did not exist, and na ime all these Janadipaha, all these kings also did not exist. That was never the case. That means I myself and you, Arjuna, as yourself, and these soldiers, these Janadipa, these kings as themselves, individual personalities, we all existed as these individual souls in the past always. Always means always, before the creation of. Because Mayavadis, they give this interpretation also. They say that when Krishna is speaking these words, he is speaking when the creation started from that point to this present point. But Krishna is not mentioning like this. He's clearly saying, never was the time when all of us did not exist. That means we exist as always. So this is very clear cut meaning. So I hope you are able to understand. You have to listen it very carefully. Then only you will be able to understand and know what is the defect in Mayavad philosophy of impersonalism. So that's why Krishna saying, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. This is the first two line of this verse. So we just discussed in terms of this impersonal philosophy, how it is wrong. But in terms of materialism also, because these two kinds of, these two category of philosophy, not actually philosophy, we can say, these two kind of illusory conception are existing in this material world. One is materialism and another is impersonalism. So we discussed about the fault, flaw in impersonalism, that everything is one, just one, no separate existence of individual soul. This is illusory conception known as impersonalism. So we just discussed about this. And another illusory conception is materialism, which promotes that there is no existence of soul. The body is all in all. This is their concept. This is illusory conception. False. This is false ego, false identification of oneself. To consider oneself to be this just this body is the greatest kind of false conception which one can have. So according to materialism, they think that as soon as the body is finished, our existence is finished. This is materialism, and that's why they don't care to lead a proper life. They think that in whatever way we want, we should lead our life. Just eat, drink, and be merry. As long as you have got this material body and senses, you just enjoy the senses to the fullest extent. Why to unnecessary control the senses and give trouble and put yourself in difficulty and give so much follow so much rules and regulations? Just enjoy whatever your mind and senses demands. Just give it. What is the what will be the what is the use of unnecessary following the rules and regulations? After all, as soon as after 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, this body will perish and everything is finished. We are finished because we are this bunch of chemicals that's finished. So what is the use in following? And what is the use in unnecessary controlling the senses, mind and senses? So this is their illusory conception. So this is also here, this illusory concept of life is also being uh, cut to pieces by the words of Supreme Lord Krishna. So Krishna is clearly saying, no, no, don't think like this. That with this body you are finished. As soon as this body is finished, you are not finished. And neither you are born when the body is born. That's why Krishna is saying, Natu eva ham jatu nasam. Arjuna, do not think like this, that the form which you are seeing in front of you, my form. So this form is not, it has not taken birth when I was born in the jail of King Kamsa, 125 years ago, when this battle was going. So somebody says, Krishna and Arjuna, they were of age approximately 125 years. Somebody says 100 years, 110 years, whatever it may be. Let us take 100 years. So Krishna is saying, do not think that I am 100 years old, that this body was born 100 years back. No, I was always in existence. Before before this present incarnation, I was also existing. And you also, Arjuna. When you got this body, before that also, before this getting this body, this present birth, you were also existing. But there is difference. Here, Krishna is just telling that both Krishna, Arjuna, and all these kings were existing before the present birth. But here clearly there is no distinction between Krishna's birth and Arjuna's and other living entities' birth. But this will be covered in the later chapters. But right now, just Krishna wants to give the idea, or the just Krishna wants to introduce this philosophy that we do not die and we are not born. We are existing always. Just body is changing. So other Arjunas and other other kings and soldiers, other living entities, body is changing. But in Krishna's case, Krishna's body even doesn't get changed, because there is no difference between Krishna's body and Krishna's self. For Krishna, in the form of 200 form of Krishna, which we see, which we take darshan in the temples, this is not imaginary form made by some human being or some devotee with their imagination. No, is a wonderful form of Krishna, which keeps the flute and having peacock feather, and his form is bent in three forms, and he is of Ghanshyam one, bluish complexion, and most enchanting form, eyes like lotus petal, lips lotus like lips, and lotus hand, lotus mouth, lotus navel, lotus feet. Very beautiful enchanting form of Krishna which we see in temples. This is not some imaginative form concocted by some human beings in on this earth. So this form is eternal form, Sachidananda Vigraha, and this is from scriptures. This is mentioned in the scriptures, and many great souls and devotees, they have realized this form in their perfectional stage of spiritual advancement. They actually saw this form not with their these eyes, material eyes. They saw this form in a spiritual level, at a spiritual level. So we should not think Krishna's form, which we make paintings and deities, this is not imaginative form. So Krishna's body is different, and other living entities' bodies are different. Other living entities also do not die, but they keep changing the body. But Krishna never takes birth and never dies, but at the same time, he doesn't even change his body, because he keeps his spiritual body always. He is not this body. So this is also important thing. So, न तो एव अहम जातु नासम न तुम न इमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयम तः परम. Nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So for future also Krishna is giving this guarantee that na cha ev, na cha means also means in the future. Na cha ev, na bhavishyamah. Bhavishyamah means in the future. Bhavishya. Sarve vayamataha param, hereafter, in future also we will keep existing. So, uh, in the past, at present, and in the future also, in all the three stages of time, Krishna is telling that I myself, Arjuna, you, and all these soldiers and kings who are present, we all exist in our individual form. We never uh, become impersonal. We we never become merged with one another. So this clear cut in this verse. Krishna has just started speaking Bhagavad Gita, and in the first instruction only, Krishna gave this a wonderful knowledge that we never become merged with each other. We exist always individually. These two things, both these things have been given by Krishna in this particular verse. That first of all, we are eternal. We never get destroyed. We are unborn. We are eternal, and at the same time, we maintain our individuality. We exist as individual spirit soul. We do not merge with each other. So there are these two kinds of misconceptions: materialism and impersonalism. Materialism says there is no existence of soul, and this body, our existence is temporary. We are not eternal. So this also Krishna refutes in this verse by saying, no, we are not temporary. We exist eternal. And the impersonalism, although they do accept the concept of eternity, they accept that we are eternal, but they do not accept the individuality, that we exist eternally in individual form. They say right now at present we are existing individually because of material conditioning, but as soon as we become free from material conditioning, finally we all become merged with each other, and we become one impersonal Brahman. So that is their another misconception. Both of these misconceptions have been refuted by Krishna in this particular verse. So we'll read this purport tomorrow, great detail, and discuss more about it. This is one of the most important verses in Bhagavad Gita. So I hope you were able to understand. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, you can ask. Yes, Jitesh, bro. Yes, Jitesh, bro.
Panchakrita.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one day I saw a very bad dream about losing one of my family members. That dream did not let me sleep the whole night. So, is this a gradual process to understand that I'm not this body? Or for a person like me, the self-realization is impossible?
No, no. Nothing is impossible. And as long as we are in this material world, this this will be answered. Your question will be answered in after 2 verses. In verse number 14, Krishna says, as long as we are in this material world, having this material body, so we will have some kind of attachment. That is for sure. So we'll experience, because of changes in the body, we'll experience some kind of pains and some kind of happiness. But Krishna says, we should situate ourselves in transcendental knowledge, in the platform of transcendental knowledge, and using that knowledge, we should become fearless. We should not be so much bothered about the happiness and distress which come because of material changes, because material changes are going to happen sooner or later. So although this will come, this may affect our consciousness. Sometimes we may become depressed, sometimes we may become very happy, but both in both the situations we should tolerate it. Meaning, tolerate means we should situate ourselves uh, at the spiritual platform with transcendental knowledge. Remember immediately that what Krishna says, we are not this body. So why should I become so much morose? Ultimately, I have to give up everything. I have to leave this material world. Everything is temporary in this world. So in this way, we can overcome this. And sometimes we may get some very attraction, some opportunity to enjoy sense gratification. That time also we should convince, we should understand, we should situate ourselves on the platform of spiritual knowledge and understand, if I lose this wonderful opportunity by getting entangled in this sense enjoyment activity, then I lose everything. My spiritual life is lost. So what is the use? This sense enjoyment is of transient nature, temporary. This is temporary. So why to lose my eternal soul for just for the sake of getting some temporary material enjoyment, which is available right now for me? So in this way, whether the opportunity for sense gratification comes, or whether sometimes we are disturbed by material distress, we should situate ourselves on the platform of spiritual knowledge, and understanding thoroughly that everything is temporary, whether material happiness or material distress. And knowing this, knowing thus, one should tolerate such dualities and practice Krishna consciousness with patience and complete enthusiasm, determination. Then one can become free, one can become neutral to all these things. Because these things come and go. Agama apaino anitya santitikcha sukharta. Krishna says, any kind of material pleasure, the opportunity for sense enjoyment, this will come and this will go. The attraction, the agitation of mind will come and go. If we situate ourselves in spiritual knowledge, platform of spiritual knowledge, and act only according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, this phase will also go. And sometimes some distressful condition will come. So that will also go away over the period of time. So why to worry so much? This is temporary. Okay. It's clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If we say who is Krishna and what is Bhagavad Gita and who is Vaishnava in one simple sentence. Okay, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimate controller of everything, everyone. And Bhagavad Gita is the words of wisdom spoken by the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Vaishnava is one who is fully surrendered to the service of the Supreme Lord Krishna. In simple sentence, these three things. Okay. Any other question? Hare Krishna. Yes.
मतलब जो वैकुंठ वासी होते हैं उन्हें भी कोई डिजायर नहीं होती है ना, तो
No, no.
मतलब
They
जैसे
also have
साकेत धाम,
desires.
हाँ जैसे
They have
साकेत धाम
desire.
है, तो वो मतलब राम जी को सर्व करने का उन्हें वो रहेगा,
Yes, yes.
ऐसा कुछ है क्या?
Yes, yes. So they also Vaikuntha
ओके।
devotees, they have intense desire, but all their desires are pure desires, spiritual desires to serve the Supreme Lord. It may be in different forms. In Ayodhya Dham, Sakya Dham, all devotees, they keep Lord Ramchandra, lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra within their heart, and they only want to serve Lord Ramchandra. In Dwarka Dham, Dwarkadhish, and in Vrindavan, they keep Shyam Sundar in their heart. The form of the Supreme Lord may be different, but it's all the same thing. Okay.
और
Hare
प्रभु जी
Krishna.
मतलब किसी एक पर्टिकुलर फॉर्म के लिए अट्रैक्शन होना और
That's all
बाकी
right.
के लिए नहीं होना। हाँ।
That's all right. But we should understand principally that all the forms are one and the same, and respect and give respect and understand their transcendental nature to be equal in all situations. There is no difference. And but we may have a particular attraction for one particular form, so there is no offense. That's all right.
जी प्रभु।
Okay. Hare
थैंक यू सो
Krishna.
मच।